Welcome to 91.9 Public Affairs and APSU TV. I'm Micah Terrell, and joining me today is Dr. Allie Johnston. She's with the APSU Writing Center. Lots of great things happening at the Writing Center and a brand new certification to talk about. But first, Allie, let's talk about the mission. What does the Writing Center do for our students?
Yeah, so we exist to really empower students in their writing at all levels of their writing process. So we say you can come in when you're brainstorming, you can come in with a final draft in any discipline.
Awesome. So we understand we have such a really diverse student body. We have non-traditional students, we have traditional students, so lots of different needs. Why do you think a strong writing center is so crucial in that instance?
Yeah, so we really want to meet students where they are. We know they have busy schedules. We know they have all differing levels of experience with technology. So we've been able to offer in-person and online appointments. And we just started weekend hours, so they can actually have e-tutoring available on the weekends. And so I think it really just allows students to feel like they're not alone. Writing can feel so isolating, but for them to feel like they can connect with someone and share their concerns and feel heard.
Definitely, that's really important. Now, you use, I understand, social media and technology to help, and you mentioned, of course, weekend hours. How does that all help connect the students and the tutors together?
Yes. So even when we're not open, students can find us and find resources. So our goal is they could go to our website. We actually have a plethora of writing resources available, from grammar to formatting to how do I cite a YouTube video. And then we actually have developed our own YouTube channel so students can watch a really quick, brief, we know time is limited for students, video on how do I do this certain thing. So we're trying to allow students that accessibility where even if our doors are physically closed, they can still have help.
And those videos are so awesome because I checked out some of them. And again, like you mentioned, brief. Again, most of them just a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes, but very helpful things, especially with APA style and other writing
Yes.
styles that people aren't familiar with. Those are really great, a kind of accessory to what, you
Yes.
can get maybe online support or chat or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
And our goal is really to help empower and improve the writer, not just the writing. So instead of just editing, we want to make sure that student feels like they're learning and growing. So I think the videos help illustrate that as well.
They do. And I know we talked about before we started our interview that about those different citation styles are almost like a new language that we
Yes.
have to practice. And those videos and, of course, the support that the tutors give really help with that.
Yes,
For sure.
for sure.
Now, what about our diverse student body? So we have traditional students, we have non-traditional students, we have military students. Let's talk first about non-traditional who may be coming back after a long time away from academics. How is the support for them a little more, I guess, attuned to their needs?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I would say we see is writing anxiety. And I feel that with math. Everyone has their own discipline. So especially if students have been away for a while, they may not be familiar with the style of academic writing, the voice, the formatting, and they may feel a little scared. And so first of all, we just want to be that welcoming place where students feel like they can come and not be judged and feel supported. And so we refer students, we have physical handouts we give them, as well as the online links. And then we read actually their paper with them. So our goal is to read it out loud, to slow it down and let them focus on that thing right in front of them. And then make sure that they feel empowered to see those changes, see the patterns, and begin to grow. And so my favorite sessions are the ones where students make recurring appointments and get comfortable with one tutor in particular, and we can really track their growth, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, what were some of the things that you've noticed with those who have a recurring appointment? Have you seen, I'm sure probably lots of growth. Have you seen them maybe not making the same mistakes and that sort of
Yeah.
thing? What are some other things you see?
Yeah, I think because we try to notice the patterns and help the student notice what is going on and learning, then we see it's really cool when we can say, all right, can you make that change now? Are you able to make this edit? And to see that light bulb moment where students are like, oh, I do see it now that we've been practicing and explaining. And then I'm always so impressed by students, especially non-traditional, who go above and beyond and find with our resources extra ways to practice. If they know their weaknesses, they continue to seek out options to improve.
And that's really awesome to see them, again, being proactive and jumping
Yes.
ahead. And it's like, ooh, I'm comfortable now. I've
Yes.
got a handle. So that's great. Now, what about students who might be military dependents or veterans, retirees? Those are active folks. How, again, they're taking their skills that they learned in a disciplined environment and translating them. How does the Writing Center do that?
Yeah, so we're really trying to work on growing our services even more with Fort Campbell and being a partner with that. And those online, we have the asynchronous options. So even if students are stationed overseas or the hours don't line up, they can still have that direct help online. But I think also we try to value students' background and writing experience. So when they've served in the military or even have family who've served, they already know this whole way of communication. And so we try to really build up and say, look at all that you've already done. You can handle this new genre of academic writing just the same. Let's come in and approach it and see, are you really good with passive voice, active voice, concision, all of those things. So working on the skills they already have outside of the classroom and showing appreciation and value for that.
Yeah, because a lot of them, as you mentioned, are so skillful in lots of different kinds of communication that we
Yes.
don't necessarily maybe use day to day here on campus. But yeah, for sure. Very, very cool. What about first gen students? Because we have a lot of folks who are like, whoa, I'm the first one in my family to even be on a campus and check it all out. What special things can they get from the Writing Center's help?
Yeah. So I think that in particular, recognizing their voice and their communities, and so showing them that, okay, once again, like with the military affiliated students, here's what all you already are contributing. So I always hate when people complain about students' writing skills, because I'm like, they're writing more than ever before with social media and with online communication. Let's harness that and see what are some other ways they can continue to grow. And so I think with our social media, and because we are peer-led, we try to kind of speak in students' language so that they feel like, oh, okay, I see this post, I see the video. That's something that kind of entices me or intrigues me, that I also communicate like that. So making sure we don't just have formal academic writing, but also showcasing different forms of communication.
Very key, and I really appreciate that too. Social can really be a helpful learning tool
Yes.
along with that. So if you're just tuning in and joining us here on APSU TV and 91.9 FM, I'm Micah Terrell. I'm joined by Dr. Allie Johnston. She's the director of the Writing Center here at Austin P. And you have a great thing to celebrate, right? We just, congratulations on the CARE certification. Now tell us why this is so important and such a big deal for the Writing Center.
Thank you. This is one of my proudest professional accomplishments. I started at Austin P as the Writing Center director in August of 2021, and I kind of had this goal on my radar, but thought, okay, not yet. Let's keep growing and building. And so this is sponsored by the Southeastern Writing Center Association, and there are writing center directors across the nation that review your application materials. So we submitted 50 pages of showcasing what is our campus outreach, our partnerships, like with the QEP and other disciplines. How do we train tutors efficiently and make sure it's quality tutoring? What are students' kind of reviews of our services? So we submitted all of this, and I was so excited that we were accepted. And they actually would give the award at the Southeastern Writing Center Conference. It was canceled due to weather, but they rescheduled for next year. So hopefully we can go and physically accept the award. But I think it just shows that we are on track to keep creating a positive learning environment for students.
And you mentioned a lot of things that they looked at, and I mean, a 50-page document. Oh, wow, that's a lot of stuff. What do you think stood out to them? You talked about training of the tutors and the reviews from students. Were those like the big things? What do you think really pushed the ball to your court, if you will?
I'm really passionate about empowering the students and once again meeting them where they are, because my own story is I was an English major in college, but kind of struggled adapting to college level writing, and grew up in Tennessee public high schools, and then came to a private university and realized I don't know how to do all this as well as these other kids, and the Writing Center made all the difference. So that's why I'm so passionate about making sure we make students feel supported and tell them you can do this. It's just a little bit of a learning curve. And so I think that is why I'm hoping that's what stood out, is that we empower our students and our tutors and make sure they feel heard. even with some of the little activities, like we have coloring sheets that have some positive affirmations on them. And we do like some fun things that try to be interactive with the students. And then I would say another big piece is with the QEP, we are major partners in trying to improve students' writing. We're also big partners with our first-year writing program in languages and literature. So they could see we do have campus outreach, and that was pretty crucial as well.
And that's such a big thing. I've read so much about how, again, first gen, new, traditional, non-traditional, all these first year students, freshmen coming in are like, it's so important to have support. It's like, I get through the door, I get into those first classes, but support from these kinds of programs are so important. And you talked about partnership with the QEP. If somebody's interested on campus or outside in the community, how can they join in and help out?
Yeah, so that is the Quality Enhancement Plan. Troy Priest leads that. And so there's actually a web page. There's tons of interactive events. We partner with one where we have pizza and papers. So you can have drop-in assistance for help with your papers and research. We have librarians on staff and pizza. The QEPs also help sponsor Grammarly for students to have another additional level of support. And then we also have embedded tutors in a lot of classes across the discipline. So trying to raise our visibility and once again show that Govs do write, we are here to just enhance that writing.
Right, and make it fun too.
Yes.
Hey, pizza and paper, I'm down for that.
Exactly.
That sounds
Free
awesome.
food, yes. They give out swag. It's great.
So I guess before we move on from talking about with care in the Writing Center, what do you think, I guess, makes a Writing Center truly responsive and excellent to the people that it serves?
Yes. So I see my job as advocating for our tutors, and they are students first. And so I believe if we can create a positive working environment, that's going to kind of exude to the students' experience and make them feel like they want to be there. So I always in training and when I'm hiring new tutors, which we're always hiring if anyone's interested, but I look for those people skills of how can you listen and how can you not judge writing or make someone feel put down, but instead find those strengths and those positives. And so I think creating that hopefully positive working environment that's fun and community-oriented makes students want to be a part of that.
So to follow up, if you're interested in being a student tutor, so good listeners, good people skills, be a good writer too,
Yeah,
right?
you have to like writing.
Do they have to be familiar with the different writing styles like MLA, Chicago, APA, and those sorts of things, or is that more on-the-job training, do you think?
We have a lot of training on that. So maybe have a baseline in your own discipline. So we have some tutors who they're our Chicago gurus. They're our APA gurus. But everyone learns, and in training we cover all those. So don't let that, defer you from applying. I really just want to see you have an interest in writing and in people.
Great. That includes a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if you're just tuning in here to 91.9 FM and APSU TV, I'm Micah Terrell, and I'm with Dr. Allie Johnston from the Writing Center here at Austin Peay. So we're talking about the great things the Writing Center does and a recent certification. Now let's look ahead to the future. What do you see on the horizon for the Writing Center?
Yes, I'm always kind of scheming and seeing
Yeah.
where's our growth. And I just had a meeting this morning. We have 3 graduate student assistant directors. And so I'm always trying to give tutors a lot of professionalization experience for them to go on and succeed in their own roles. But I'm really wanting to have more campus outreach and have more campus visibility. So we try to have some staff present at certain Govs events. But I want to increase that even more because it always kind of breaks my heart when students are like, I didn't know you existed. And I'm like, yes, we do, and we're free, and we want you to come. And so I want to make sure that's not even an option, that all students are like, I'm familiar with that place, and I want to go.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I know with our university success, because I've been teaching cohorts in the fall, that's a big part of what we do is just
Yes.
remind people, because again, I think they get busy with that first year of school. I'm trying to get all my assignments done, but they need to know, like you said, about all the outreaches and other programs that are out there. So that's a great idea to do that. So yeah. So now, if students want to take advantage of the Writing Center, what's the first thing they should do to get started on that?
Yes. So apsu.edu/writing center is our homepage. And there's several tabs where you can learn how to schedule an appointment, watch our online resources and videos. There's also a professor resource tab. So if professors want us to come to their class and lead a workshop or event, we're welcome to do that. And then our YouTube is also linked there in social media. And then you can also stop by. If you are already on campus, we are in the back of Woodward Library. I like to say if you know where Starbucks is, you can find us because we're right behind Starbucks. And then you can also on our website, our number is linked if you'd rather call or email, writinglab@apsu.edu.
Awesome. Very easy to do. Right. So for students who, and I know I was one of these because I was a little nervous about using the library at first, and we didn't have the writing center. I'm going to show my age a little bit there. But nervous about using the library and using the writing center. What do you think are some things to kind of calm their fears?
Yes. I would say knowing that we are peer-led. And so I would say most, if not all of our tutors have been in your shoes before. They've been overwhelmed by coming to college. They've felt maybe lost in a class or uncertain of their ability. So knowing you're not alone, and knowing that the tutors are really there to help. They are paid to spend that focused attention reviewing your paper. And that's what I love, because you can ask a friend, you can ask someone else to review, but you know these tutors are getting paid to spend that time with you. So knowing that they want to be there, they enjoy it, and they want to see you succeed.
And I think that's the fear, because we talked about it a little at the outset, but I think it's even good to mention is that I think we all have a lot of pressure whenever it's an essay or research paper, thesis, dissertation, whatever it is, how we get so worried about, will this be good enough?
Yes.
And how can we, with the culture of the Writing Center, help with that fear, that pressure that we all tend to put ourselves under about writing?
Yeah, I still do it myself as a writing instructor. But really starting at square one. And so I tell my students all the time, do not try to write an essay in one sitting. I know it's like challenge accepted. You know, college students are busy. It's the night before. You get the caffeine going and you just knock it out. But ideally, if you can kind of view your paper in two parts. The first is that creative, open mindset. Just dump every thought onto a page. Clean up that blank space. Then go back and have your critical mindset on and think about, okay, how am I going to edit, clean this up, make it even better? So if you can think in two parts instead of all at once, I think when we try to be critical and creative at the same time, we get that writer's block. We get that freeze. So beginning at square one, giving yourself time. And that's where in the Writing Center, as a student myself, it would hold me accountable. I would look at my due date for my essay, go ahead and make a few Writing Center appointments before that, and then say, okay, I'm going to have an outline by this first appointment. I'm going to have a draft by this next. So it took that pressure off to be perfect.
Yes, and thank you for bringing up outlines, because I think I know we did those in school. I know a lot of students still do them in school, but learning to do the background research beforehand to help you write a little skeleton, if you will, is what I like to call them. Get a little skeleton going. I think that's a lost art, and I'm glad that we have the tutors to help the students with that and kind of remind them.
And outlines, they don't have to be formal. You know, the Roman numerals, official, that's one way. But I even still outline and brainstorm the notes app in my phone. You know, just getting my ideas. And so I tell my students, try to be bored. Try to be bored. Like in the shower, if you're waiting at a red light, see what ideas about your paper research come to mind and jot them down somewhere. So to me, that's the beauty of the writing process, is it can hit you anywhere.
And in the shower is one of them.
Yes.
It's a great one. I hope it doesn't happen. I know this happened to me. I know it might have happened to some of our listeners and viewers too. When you're in the middle of doing something like, oh, I'm cooking something. Oh, yeah, that's right. And you're like, where's the paper? But you grab the phone. That's a great idea to just stick it in there.
Even voice memos.
Yes, that's a great idea. Yes, so awesome. So, Allie, thank you so much. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to add for the folks listening and watching?
I would just say we're so appreciative to be here and to serve the students. And we love seeing y'all. Even if you just come by for a walk-in appointment, come sit and work so you don't feel alone. And we're just thankful to serve the Govs.
Yeah, and we thank you too. So again, if folks want to get in contact with you, if you could mention the email again.
Yes, writinglab, LAB, at apsu.edu. And then our website is apsu.edu/writing center, and you can see multiple tabs for whatever you're looking for specifically.
And if they want to book an appointment, can they do that there?
Yes, you can do it directly online. You make an account with our scheduling system, and once you're in, it's very easy to do. And then you can also call. If you're like, I don't want to do online, I'd rather somebody book it for me. We have wonderful front desk staff that are also students who will book it directly for you.
Wonderful. And in case you missed any of that stuff while you may be listening and driving, that's okay. We'll post everything on our socials as well on 91.9 FM. We'll have that. So all the information's there on our Facebook and Instagram, so folks can check that out. So Dr. Allie Johnston of the Writing Center, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I'm Micah Terrell with 91.9 FM and APSU TV.